All right, so now we're going to find out if the cloud is good. So, hi everybody. Today is February 5th, and we are in the fourth week, if you can imagine, of an 8-week class, and it's just pretty spectacular and pretty amazing how quickly time goes. But I'm going to take a look at the Moodle page and just run through where we are right now, and then what I need to see from you, and then I want to take any questions. The other thing is, several of you are extraordinarily close to getting your topic refined enough, and I made notes on the assignment. So go back and look at that quiz number 2 and read the notes, because a couple of you are just like an inch away. There are a couple of people who are there. So if you have a grade and the grade is 100%, it means you are good to go with that topic, okay? And if not, I left you notes about how to refine it. And most of it, like, for example, on Christy's topic, she has an amazing topic. Several of you have really great topics. Christy's is just too big. I mean, there's several choices, and I would love her to write that paper, but I think she wants to go to work and do other classes and go home for dinner, because, I mean, the topic breadth would take you way beyond the scope of this class. So you know, it'd be a great paper, but at what cost? So we don't need to do that. So anyway, let me take a look at the Moodle page and show you what's going on. So here we are at week number 4, and we have just finished this. You'll notice up in week 3, I added this today. Once you go through the repartee with me and we decide, yep, I say, yep, that is a good topic right there, post it to this discussion forum, okay? And it's just one sentence, that's it. So the reason for that is then your classmates can also see what a topic is that will work, okay? And so that's why I want you to do that. Now, the next section here, week 4, starting tonight, we really talk about getting that topic down and honing it through the lens of risk analysis. And what I mean by that is, not everything, we have to make sure that we're not talking about a danger or an opportunity. And when we talk about risk, we have to discuss how that a couple of different things could happen, right? I mean, it's not like something like a sure outcome. Like some of the things we talked about, you know, people were sharing their personal experiences. If you do something that's just flippin' dangerous, you know, you build a Ford Pinto and then you say, oh, well, some people are going to die, whatever. That's not, you know, that's not risk analysis, right? So we need to determine something. First of all, it's a risk. So separate that out from a danger or an opportunity. And then we have to have a topic that we can analyze. And the way that we're going to analyze it in this class is to look at some good stuff that could happen if we do this and some bad stuff. Or occasionally, it could be just some bad stuff that happens. But the way that we're going to do that is by finding 5 different articles online that are relatively current on your topic and reading through them and summarizing those articles, and then using those 5 articles as the basis of your paper. So that is the research. That's the research piece of this. So we'll continue a little bit more. But so here's this, there's a lecture right here that will talk about going through getting this topic all squared away. And then this little visual, this little graphic just talks about how it is. So almost everybody who's here tonight is somewhere in this upside down pyramid, okay? So what we've done is we're somewhere in the topic range. Some of you are already down into the research question or the topic for the paper. You know, I mean, what the paper is going to be written about. Research question is just the topic posed in the form of a question. So, for example, Christy's topic, like I said, which is just terrific, is about perhaps doing something about the risks involved in becoming a CDL driver with or without going to a school. So in other words, the research question would be, in what way does truck driving school decrease increase risks, or it could be a certain kind of a risk for low hour truck drivers. You see, or you could just say mitigating risk in low, that would be a question. You could do it as a topic by saying mitigating risk in low hour truck drivers by mandatory truck driving school attendance, or completion, I guess would be right. But do you see what I mean? So it's like, we need to make it really little. And I always find when I write papers like this, I always am a little embarrassed because I think, oh my gosh, this is so tiny. You know, I mean, I'm just talking about this wee little thing and it couldn't possibly be a paper, but trust me, it is. Lillian has a really good topic, and she's just basically there as well, which is for a COVID-19 vaccine, what are the risks associated with not getting vaccinated versus getting vaccinated? You know, and that, or you could say, as a research question, you could say, what are the risks? What are the comparative risks between getting a COVID-19 vaccine and not getting a COVID-19 vaccine in the year 2021 or 2020 or whatever, you know, wherever you want it to be. So you could really just narrow it down, because maybe the risks are changing now, you know, kind of like, and if you don't, I think there's plenty of information on COVID-19 vaccines. You could use another type of a disease, vaccines for measles or vaccines for the flu, you know, and you could maybe, if you wanted to even hone it down further, if you just got in there like 10 million references, you could say in people over the age of 60 or something like that. You know, you could make it really, really tight like that. So, but anyway, and you will, these are, but it's a really good thing. And then, so there's a little document here that talks about how to write a research question, which is just what we're talking about right now. But the most important thing is that when we talk, this is just how risk management works when you're talking about business. Oh, I think it was Ivan, you had a really good one too, which is a really classical, or was it Bo? I'm sorry. Who wanted to write about the stock market? Was that you, Ivan, or no?
Yeah, that was me.
Okay, that's a really good topic, and that is like a classic risk analysis topic, you know, and you probably want to pare it down, like, you know, what is the risk of buying high-tech stock as opposed to buying utility stock or something in the year 2020 or something like that, you know, but there's lots of different ways you can go to make that smaller. But anyway, so that's kind of where we're heading with there. But watch all of these videos. For someone like Ivan, who's doing a really quantitative one, or Lillian, who's doing a quantitative one, or you know, that's sort of, like I said, very specific. And in some ways, it's easier because the data is going to be a lot clearer. But it's not. It's easier if you're, well, I shouldn't even say it's easier. It's just it's a very clean way to do an analysis. If you do something a little more qualitative, it can be a little broader, and you have to just be really careful to keep writing it, you know, in a tight way, because otherwise you'll go crazy. And one of the, not, you won't really go crazy, but I mean, you'll just be very upset and you'll be cussing me and, you know, wishing me ill. So we need to make sure that doesn't happen. So if you do a qualitative paper, one of the things that happens is when you read one paper in your research, it will tend to lead you into 12 more papers, and each one of those will lead you into a bibliography, and it's all just amazing. But you just sort of have to, we're not going to be able to circle the wagons and get all the research on a topic in a qualitative way. So if you're doing qualitative, read 5 papers and then just say, this is the universe as I know it. You know what I mean? Don't torment yourself with the other 9 million papers out there about that topic. So there you go. So that's sort of the deal. So read through the paper, what are the documents I have here, and then the videos, and then how to frame a risk. These are just ways of looking at it, right? And what we're talking about here would really apply to like what Ivan is talking about. But I thought it was really interesting is Lillian brought up that you tended to not be a real risk taker. And I think that's a really important thing. That's really important if you like invest, you know, I'm kind of tying this back into Ivan's thing. If you invest in the stock market, some people are just willing to just throw it all to the wind and hope for, you know, it's like I might put my $5,000 down and I might get back, you know, $20 million, or I might lose it all and I don't care. You know, and if you've got a big old payoff, maybe it's worth it. But like betting your, you know, betting your house on something with a tiny little, you know, tiny little chance of success is probably not a great idea. I mean, at least for some of us. Some people seem to get away with it and keep, you know, keep going through bankruptcy, keep living their lives, and everything's fine. But for most of us, and especially most people as you get older, when you're younger, when you're in your 20s and very early 30s, monetary risk is not that big of a deal because you have a lot of time to make it back up. But when you start getting into your 50s and 60s and you're thinking, you know, retirement is not that far away, you don't have time to roll the dice like that. You know, you need to take your nest egg and kind of protect it. So, you know, put it in safe things. And so a decision you make at 30 might not be the same decision, or your appetite for risk may be different at 30 as it is at 60. So, you know, those are sort of the deals. All right, so if you look here then, my computer just skipped ahead, I apologize. The writing assignment is to do a literature review or an annotated bibliography where you take 5 sources and you take at least 3 of these and describe, do a little like a summary paragraph, okay? There is an annotated bibliography example here on the page, and there's also an APA style guide. But where you're thinking probably, where am I going to get these papers? Well, there's a ton of ideas where you can get these papers. This is more or less just telling you how to write them and what they look like. But let me take the next thing I'm going to do is to show you a little bit about where you're going to find these papers. Okay, and then I also have a note here. This was before I knew that tonight was going to be Zoom, but the next 2 lectures are going to be Zoom as well. So, so the other ones are going to be more suited to Zoom. This was sort of a last minute thing, but yet here we are, so it's all right. So, the question is, at that point, where are you going to find these papers that are going to serve as the basis of your research? And you can go to any of the sources at the Northwest College Library. You can do this all online. You don't ever have to step foot inside of a library. The librarians are amazing and they have everything available to you. But there are different databases. Like, for example, if you're doing medical stuff, you could go to a medical database. Or another thing you can do is, which is the easiest thing to do, not everything is available here, but a lot of it is, you can go to Google Scholar, which I'm going to show you just right now. Okay, so it looks a lot like Google, except you type in, the URL is scholar.google.com, and we want to look at articles. I don't think we really want to look at case law, but if we took a topic such as, yeah, you can see it. These are things I've searched recently. I'm really interested in regulated power versus deregulated power and how it affects the consumers, but we could do that and you'll see how much you get. But if we were going to take a look at, like, let's look at Christie's, one of her proposed topics, but let's just say CDL drivers risk mitigation factors. I'm going to see what we come up with here. I think we're going to come up with a lot. Truck driving school. Okay, and then we'll just do this development and you see how many there are. Future truck drivers, where will they come from? Why would they take this job? Can you see the list of references? Okay, I never know if it flips over or not. But so you might look at this and some of them might be good, And some of the other things, like here's one on obesity and other risk factors, I don't think that's really going to be applicable. And then we just look at some different things about, different truck drivers on the training and testing of entry-level commercial motor vehicle drivers. That looks really good to me. I mean, I don't know exactly what it is, but you can click on it. And after you click on it, it will tell you, first of all, who published it. I'm gonna get rid of this cookies deal. Elsevier is a good source, if it's like, I don't know. But then there's the abstract that just talks a little bit about it. So you can read the abstract and then just decide if this looks like it would be something you would like to study and put into your database of knowledge. The other good thing about this is it says there's a PDF. Let's see if it really is. Sometimes they don't even want you to pay any money. So here you go. So you can get the entire article here on Google Scholar for free. You could write your annotated bibliography for it. And the other thing that's really neat is this is a good place to start. But if you take a look at this down below, it says cite, C-I-T-E, and it will show you some examples of how to cite that article. So when you're writing your bibliography, your annotated bibliography, here is your pattern, okay? And we're going to be using APA. So you could start with this chunk and then see if it pans out. You may have to alter it a little bit. The AI here doesn't get it exactly right a lot of the time, but it's really, really close. So, so that's kind of how we would get started with our research. So that's this week's assignment, is to go through and start looking at the literature. If you use Google Scholar exclusively, that's great. The other thing about Google Scholar is if you cannot get access to a document, if you have a journal article and you're just like, oh man, I really like this and I really want to read it, but Google Scholar has a paywall, or not Google, it wouldn't be Google Scholar, but the publisher has a paywall. You can ask our librarians, if you send an email to Becky Voss or one of the women who works with her, and they can most likely get it for you through interlibrary loan. There's an occasionally you can't get that. Oh, here's another thing I was going to say just for searching. So let's just say you are searching for stuff, you're searching by topics. And then as you're going through this, you see that there's somebody who just publishes everything. I mean, his or her name keeps coming up over and over again. I don't really see anything right here, but sometimes you'll just get these people who just publish and publish on a certain topic. And so let's just say that J.E. Lincoln, is she gonna link? No, let's look at Birdsey. Okay, some of them don't link. But if you do that, Jan Birdsey here tells you who she is, and then it shows all of her articles. So what that means for you is if you click on a prominent author, you may just get right down to it in another way. So those are just some ideas. All right. So what questions do you guys have for me about this stage of the game? You guys are too easy. You're gonna make my life too easy. Andy.
I'll take that bet. It seems like everyone else did pretty well on their picking this. I did not. I'm gonna have to meet with you.
Excellent.
You didn't give me 100.
Your topic was very, very close, but I just thought we just need to hone this down, and mostly with yours, Andy, it was so broad. I just thought this guy will be here working on this forever. But what you can do is, let me show you on our Moodle page. You probably already know this, but up at the top, there's a Zoom link that there's a link that you can schedule, where it says schedule an individual Zoom meeting with me. Now, we can meet face to face, especially since you're on campus. If you prefer that, we can do it. But if you click here, it will, let's see, there you go. Do you have my new screen where it has my little face and says 30-minute meeting? Okay, so if you click on that, it'll show you all of my availabilities. So like you could say, oh, I'd like to meet on the 27th and it'll show you all the times I have free. So just pick on the time that suits you the best, and it will put it on my calendar, and then we'll have that time uninterrupted. I mean, I don't want it to be that late. I'd like it to be in the next few days, but you get the gist of it. So
Yeah, you'll be on campus tomorrow.
I
I'll
will.
go in and I'll schedule a time and I'll come in at that time and see you.
Great. I have tomorrow, math counts is on campus tomorrow. So I'll be tied up from about 12 until maybe 3 or 3:30. So it
Okay,
should be on my calendar. You know, everything that's available on my calendar should be good to go. But tomorrow we've got the middle schoolers to deal with. So, which is always fun. They're just, I don't know if you guys ever seen math counts, but man, those guys are hot. They are bright people. So, but yeah, that would be great. So do that. We'll get you squared away. We'll get you 100 in 10 minutes. So we'll schedule a half hour, but we'll have it done in 10 minutes. So,
okay.
all right. Anyone else?
Astrid, I guess, could you explain the homework a little bit more, please? I'm a little confused on it.
Yes. First of all, there's two pieces of it. The first is after I've given you 100% on your homework, on your paper topic, you post one sentence to the discussion board, just that says what your topic of your paper is. The next part is to go onto Google Scholar or any database that you're interested in. But I like Google Scholar because it's really easy and it's very well connected. And you type in your topic or something about your topic, and you find 5 papers that have been written about your topic. And that's what's going to be the basis of the literature. So in other words, after you get those 5 papers, you don't have to go outside. I mean, if you find something else and it gives more information, it's like, that's not part of your universe. 5 papers, that's it. Okay, so you don't have to go any further. Just take the information of those papers. That's going to become the basis for your paper. So the writing assignment this week is to do an annotated bibliography. And what I mean by that is you take those 5 papers and write them in APA format, which there's examples on our Moodle page, and you just write the citation. And then for at least 3 of them, you write like a little short paragraph, 3 or 4 sentences about what kind of summarizes the article. Okay, then those 5 papers are actually going to be part of your final paper. So everything that we're doing is going to work into your final paper. We're not doing any busy work, and we're not going to revert and go do something else. Okay, so this week's assignment is annotated bibliography. Does that make sense, Bo?
Yeah, a little bit. I think I might have to meet with you just to
Yeah,
make sure I'm understanding it the whole way.
you bet. That would be super. So I will be around. This week I'm going to be on campus almost all week. So if you use that Calendly link, whenever I'm not busy, I'll have links, and so we can meet and make sure that you're squared away.
Perfect. Thank you.
Right, yeah, you bet. Anyone else? Any other questions?
I had a quick question. I think I'd asked you in my paper or my response. You had mentioned something about incident command, including that in it. Could you clarify what you meant?
No, I was kind of going a diverse. If you were to do that, that would be a different research question that you could find from your topic. So, but yeah, so if you're just going with I don't mean I think just working with the risk of being vaccinated versus non-vaccinated, incident command's not going to figure in. It was interesting when you brought up incident command, because it's like you could really do something with that too, because you know, anything that you stage an incident command for is like unpredictable and very risky, and so there's a lot of stuff. But yeah, it's related, but it's not the same, and it would be too broad for this. So yeah. Anything else, guys? All right. Well, thanks for your time and your flexibility in meeting via Zoom. Like I said, I'll be around all week. So if you need to talk to me, please just schedule an appointment. We'll have some time to ourselves. And other than that, look at scholar.google.com, and I think you'll be I mean, I was way impressed. Last time I did a lot of research before I started using Google Scholar like 4 years ago was where you had to go to the library and get the card catalog and beg the librarian and have packets shipped from, I don't know, wherever, Havre, Montana to wherever, you know, so, cause they had it and they could photocopy it and blah, blah, blah. So much easier now. You'll not have any of that nonsense. You'll just, the problem now is just culling it down enough to keep it, you know, because it's so easy to just get 120 things and we just want 5. And then that's the universe, you know, so you don't have to go beyond like that. Or you shouldn't go on. We can't. We have to finish the class. So, all right, everybody, have a wonderful evening, and we will see you on Zoom next week. And those of you that want to meet with me, I'll look forward to getting those calendar notices, and I will see you then. Have a great
Thank you.